This is the test. This is the test. This is the test. Dan, say some words. Dan, say some words.
I'll say some words.
Yay.
Alright, what's up, dudes? Back from hiatus, Podcast Paradise, episode 11. And I decided to bring back the old gang. So, we have Jonah.
Hi, I was the one who encouraged Max to restart this because he was too stupid to figure out how to, record. So I had to take the initiative.
And Dan.
I'm the one with the basement.
Yeah?
You ran out of Lipton's, though, which is a detriment.
I just spent a whole fucking $1 on this Gatorade.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you made me walk into Taco Bell, steal a drink, and leave.
being honest here, Dawn thought that the fridge was still stacked, and I was like, no. It's
Well,
not
you should
stacked with
have
drink.
made him aware that it was not.
Well, I really don't care about Lipton's.
That we do. You know that we do.
How do you not care about Lipton's?
Also, Dan, you know that we do, and you care about us.
Yeah. True.
Also, I get the sense that they're just waiting us out.
They
until we
are.
leave for school.
Oh,
Diane
100%.
already said that today.
Verbatim.
Yeah, pretty
When
much.
these fucking nerds leave.
All right.
In the basement.
So today, I woke up at about 3 p.m.
Oh my god.
And I awoke to an interesting story that I think would be a good way to start off the podcast lightly. So, do you know what happened with Jack and his parking spot?
I do not.
No, I'm not aware.
All right, so you guys will hear this for the first time too. So, my younger brother Jack, at the high school, they do this thing where like the seniors paint their parking spot what they wanted, and Jack didn't want to buy paint because they make you buy your own paint now. So he went and then
Cheapskates.
and then didn't feel like waiting for people to finish with their paint. So he said, guys, when I'm just gonna leave, you guys can just paint whatever you want in my spot. I don't care. So they just painted a bunch of random shit, and one of the kids, for whatever reason, painted like tic-tac-toe and hangman in his spot.
Mm-hmm.
And someone, I don't know who, I don't know if it was a parent or a student or someone who works with the school, but they literally complained about the hangman, saying that it was inappropriate.
What?
And they literally, they're going tomorrow to like talk to the school because they told him to paint over it.
Oh my god.
Because it was inappropriate.
Like inappropriate as in like offensive?
Yeah.
How?
Dude, Hangman is a game, alright?
Hangman is a game that I literally played in like second grade.
They
Yeah.
want him to paint over it.
Like, what was there? Like, why did they say it was offensive? Like, what about
They
it
didn't
is
really,
offensive?
they just said the semi-offensive hangman.
Do you think...
Did they write like a word under it that
No.
like?
Well,
Is it just someone being hung?
No, it's like a hangman from a hangman drawing, and like there are letters that are like crossed out.
It's
like
just
you
a
got
stick
wrong.
figure with
Yeah, so it's a
hanging.
stick figure.
That's so stupid. Holy shit.
I feel like what is even the point of that? You know, like the kids are like 18, and they're like, oh, that's not appropriate for like your eyes.
I don't know. I like how they address this issue of like there being a hangman, but not the issue of, I don't know, seniors like trying to fuck freshmen. That's not the issue that they want to address.
Also, I love how people are even getting like political with what they're writing, and nobody seems to care about that. Everyone seems to be transfixed about Hangman.
Yeah, I remember we went, and there was like a whole like MAGA parking spot, and
like that's completely fine, but you know, doing Hangman, oh geez, that's taking it a bit too far, don't you think?
a stick figure
Yeah.
being hung in my fucking school? How could you do that?
not saying suicide is something that should be taken lightly.
It's not
but-
even suicide.
It's not even suicide. Hangman
It's-
is execution.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have no idea who complained. We have no idea what's going to come of this. But yeah, just thought that would be an interesting little tidbit
I'd love to hear
to
what
open up
happens.
with.
Yeah, I think Jack should protest and keep his hangman. I believe in him.
And
I believe in his rights.
The next time we do a podcast, we should definitely talk about how it unfurled
if
for the
we
fans.
do another podcast.
Whether that be
That
like
is
a
a
year
major
from
if.
now when we haven't thought about it in a year. But yeah.
All right, so you guys ready to try to recapture the magic of last night and talk about the election a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is the part where I kind of sit back.
Yeah, well, honestly, for me, like, this whole, like, summer period usually is the time where I just, like, casually follow it. And then, like, in the fall, once things start to get a little more serious.
I've been really bad. I literally haven't followed at all. Like, literally, except for seeing Tulsi Gabbard on TV and being like, oh, yeah, she's kind of a MILF. And then, like, listening to a bit of her politics.
Well-
Like, that's as close as I've gotten, really.
For me, it's like I have like two sides of interest. So it's like during the summer, you know, I'm all about bugs and all that, and then like I have to
As
fill,
one is.
I have, I have to fill in the void when it's winter. So I actually do a lot of research with like politics and stuff during the winter, because I have nothing better to do.
I think I'm just so annoyed with politics that, like, I'm just like, dude, I'm just gonna play fucking Dragon Quest. Like, why research when I can just play some Red Dead? Like,
From like October to April, I'm like pretty invested in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we were talking last night about kind of early prognosis of who we would think we might vote for and also who has a chance to win. So I think what we should probably do is go down. Actually, you know, just I'll open up the floor to one of you guys.
alright, well, not it.
All right, Dan. So who are you feeling like? You can answer whichever one you want first. Who are you feeling has the best chance to win in terms of the Democrats? Or who are you feeling like you are most leaning towards right now?
So if I have to choose best chance to win against Trump, right?
No, best chance to
Nomination.
come out. Right.
All right. Best chance for nomination, I'm going to go with Biden.
Really?
Yeah, I think even with the amount of hits he's taken, he has still got a huge lead over like Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and all them. Like the next people below him.
But Warren's like coming up.
Yeah.
I feel like she's been like after the whole like Native American bullshit died down, which even I knew about. That's how bad it was. After that whole thing died out, I feel like she's definitely moving
We're gonna
up.
have to see if it lasts though, because if you looked at the first debate, Kamala Harris did really well and got a huge bump up, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Kamala Harris could be the next front runner." But then the second debate came, and she fell back into the fray, I guess, and now it's Elizabeth Warren, and I'm not sure. If
Well,
that's gonna last.
I felt like even before the first debate, Elizabeth Warren had a lot of momentum.
She's always
felt
someone
like-
who's been on my radar.
I felt like
Yeah.
she was kind of sitting behind Bernie Sanders.
Really? I feel like this election, Bernie Sanders is like.
Bernie Sanders is falling more. Towards the beginning, he was better.
I feel
He's
like
starting to fall.
was in front of Bernie.
Yeah,
I felt
I agree.
Like
She
I
is now. I don't think she.
no, I feel
was
like she was
before.
back then. Like Bernie, like ever since last election cycle has like lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Because people are like, okay, we can't go that far left. We can't be that progressive yet. So let's get someone who's left but not too far. We can't
get
go
that.
Bernie. And
I
I feel
get
like
that.
that's where Warren kind of sits.
And also last year, the candidates were way like the field was way weaker than it is now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that like the discussion back then was like Bernie versus Hillary.
Yeah.
And I feel like if Joe Biden had ran, he wouldn't have had that.
Dude, he
much
would have
difficulty.
sweeped. He would have
yeah.
sweeped.
If Biden ran, and I have a lot of problems with Biden. I do not think he's a strong candidate. I don't think he's a strong debater.
Agreed.
But he does not have as many skeletons in his closet as Hillary did. He wasn't as cringy as Hillary, even though he is kind of cringy.
He's
like,
not.
He's cringy in a good way, I feel like. Like, he's like, oh, look at this cute old man.
He's prone to gaffing, which is just like saying dumb shit.
But Hillary is prone to like like being very fake.
Yeah, like when you look at Hillary, you're like, wow, she's definitely part of like some corporate thing that's like trying to take over America. At least that's what I thought when I saw
Like
her.
you get the feel that like you get the feel like she's trying too hard to seem likable.
She's just a Steve Buscemi meme, like "Hello, fellow kids."
I feel like it's almost relatable to like Mark Zuckerberg trying to be relatable.
Dude, have you seen that video of him grilling?
No, is it one of his live streams?
Yeah,
I might have seen a clip of it then.
I saw a video where it was like a 3-minute video that just isolated every time he said "sweet baby Ray's" in the video. He's literally like, "I'm gonna put on my sweet baby Ray's. I got some sweet baby Ray's here. Sweet baby Ray's, huh?" Like, it's like literally 3 minutes
that shit's
long.
fucking fire. But back to the election. I would pick Biden for most likely for nomination right now. Still, depending on how Elizabeth Warren carries her momentum, I could definitely see her taking that spot. And as for someone who I would personally want to win the nomination, it's still going to be Elizabeth Warren. I think I am a fan of her right now, and I've been a fan of her for like I'd say a month now, which is pretty long considering it's been very turbulent in terms of my favorite in this election.
Dude, I don't think I could even say I'm a fan of anyone really. Like,
I'd say out of the candidates I would classify as like has a legitimate chance, she's definitely my favorite one.
Oh, definitely, but like I wouldn't dare call her like my I guess I'd call her my choice, but I wouldn't call her my favorite. Know what I mean?
We were talking about this last night about how she has some of that like cringe in her too.
Dude, yeah, she's like has that
1/16th Native
thick
American.
grandma energy. Like,
yeah.
No, she has
Not
that
nearly
thing-
as bad as Hillary, but she has
No.
the middle school teacher energy. Like you
yeah,
were saying
the middle
last
school
night.
librarian energy. fucking Miss O'Hara over there.
Yeah, but she always like, and it's one of those things where like it seems so like simple to us to be like, oh yeah, like you could very easily like get coached of what to say during the debates, but for whatever reason, but like people still say stupid shit all the time. But she's I feel like she always like consistently has said the right things.
Yeah.
And like,
Or as at least not fucked up as much as
Yeah,
the others.
exactly. Like everyone else, it's like you feel like it would be so easy to just be like, all right, Beto, you probably shouldn't do the Spanish accent twice. You probably shouldn't do it at all, but definitely not do it twice. And definitely don't do it after Cory Booker starts trying to do it too.
It feels so patronizing.
also, just like the whole nickname Beto, it's just like, all right, you've established that you have Latino roots. Like, you don't need to go any further. We understand.
Dude, I was dying laughing with him and Cory Booker during the first debate. It was like comical.
Yeah, you were just talking about that.
I thought I didn't even laugh. I was just like, what is going on?
Dude, with Cory Booker, every answer he gave, no matter what the topic was, he would open it up with either I'm black or I have black people in New Jersey that I look after.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Every single answer he opened
And
with
it's like,
that.
dude, that means like almost nothing. Like you can still be gentrified and be black. Like doesn't mean that you're in touch with your black community.
Like,
just like, oh yeah, I'm one of them.
That's his thing, though. That's his claim to fame. He's black.
That's like it's shitty. You feel like
it is bad.
You
don't
feel
get
like
me wrong.
his team would be like, dude, don't do this.
There's a reason why he hasn't gone above like 3% in the polls. Like, he is
Dan,
very generic.
You should tell your story about how you shook his hand.
Yeah, all right. So basically, so I shook 2 senators' hands within a week. Cory Booker being the more interesting one. So I was at my sister's graduation at Southern New Hampshire University, and he was the commencement speaker, which fucking surprised me because like, wow, they got a really good guy to do this.
And he must be busy. Like,
yeah, he was definitely busy because he was rushing to get out of there. But so basically he decided to shake hands with every single person graduating. Like, he did his commencement speech and he was like, you know what the hell, I want to shake everyone's hand. And he ended up only shaking half of them because there were 2 rows of people graduating. So I was like, dang. My sister didn't get a chance to shake hands with him, unfortunately, but after the event, my parents and I left kind of quick. And in the crowd, I see him sort of like weaving through and kind of jogging. Like, hey, is that Cory Booker? And then he comes up to me. He's like, hey, wow, I'm glad you know who I am. Hey, nice to meet you. And he shook my hand. I was like, what the hell? Did that just happen?
Did you say he was really sweaty?
Yeah, he was very sweaty. Well, he was jogging. And
was his
Full
hands
suit and tie.
was his hand sweaty?
Yes. It was
How
very
floppy was the shake?
it was firm.
Oh, that's good.
It was firm but moist. It left my
Like
hand,
a really strong fish.
it left my hand in a very sticky state.
Have
but-
you washed your hands since?
Yeah, I did wash
Oh,
my
that's a
hands.
shame.
Did you have to wipe like directly after?
I like wiped my shirt.
Oh, so he was really sweaty.
Yeah, well he's bald, so it's like it just kind of rolls down his head, you know.
Did he, during the speech, like he dabbed his forehead?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he had like a really premeditated. It was a good speech, but you can definitely tell he just says that everywhere. It was just like about how he grew up in a black family, and like there were a couple of like inner city people that looked up to him and like helped him get into the Senate seat. And I was like, all right, whatever. It totally wasn't like donors or anything. And yeah, and the other senator I shook a week before his hand was Senator Jack Reed from Rhode Island at an event, a campaign event, and he was interesting. He's a lot less in the spotlight than Cory Booker is because he's not running for president. But he was pretty cool. He's
I feel
also
like
really
Cory Booker
short.
was in the spotlight before that too. Like I feel like he was kind of recognizable.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
was definitely a standout because I knew
Like-
about him even before he started running.
Aside from that one picture of Jack Reed and Obama walking out of a military plane with aviators on, I don't think I've ever seen him.
I honestly
on the
don't even
news.
know what Jack Reed looks like.
He's like he's really short. Like he's way shorter than I am, and he's just kind of like an old fashioned.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you mentioned that you were like, oh wow, you are short.
Yeah.
Like when you met him,
He's
he's this
just kind of like
person
an
you
old
thought of.
fashioned establishment Democrat. Like yeah, he's just like kind of like a moderate. But you know, he was pretty nice.
How
I
firm
like
were his hands?
Very normal. I really don't have anything I remember about
How wet?
that. Not wet.
Aw.
It
Yeah,
was
you
in an-
met him at like a very casual
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
Wasn't it like a buffet?
It wasn't a buffet. Like they were serving food to us. There were like a lot of balloons, and there was like an old fashioned jazz band playing, and Gina Raimondo was there too, and she's way
Oh.
shorter than I thought too. I thought she was kind of tall for a woman, but no, she's like short, and she has weird hair.
Fucking Gina.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to the election at hand.
Yep.
So do you? It seems like you think that Bernie is still has a shot.
I do.
You do?
Partially.
How so?
Because I think looking, and this is strictly me looking at social media, there are a lot of people who don't like Elizabeth Warren compared to Bernie. Like, a lot of people are like, wow, she's cringy. Like, wow, she's kind of like Hillary. And, like, they don't get that from Bernie. Like, they think Bernie is a lot stronger of a candidate, if that makes sense. Like, he can hold his own debate. He doesn't, like, mean to get the kids. You know what I mean?
I mean, like last run, I was a Bernie fan, like big time,
I think a
and
lot of people
I
were.
still am theoretically, but I don't think like this sounds kind of fucking like I don't know, like big, but I don't think we're ready for him. I don't think the country is in a state where we can flip flop from this conservative to that left. Like I feel like we're not ready for him.
Yeah.
I like every Bernie speech is always like a lot of promises, but never really any like plans or methodology.
Well,
That's
you're
true.
just that's just politics in general.
Yeah, but him even more so. Like
Yeah.
I've never heard him, especially with how radical his ideas are.
Yeah.
That's like, and especially when people like that, they always get criticized by the right for like not knowing basic economics. So like like with his position, even more so than a normal politician, he should be incentivized to like lay out some sort of plan, and he never has.
Yeah, with something that radical, you kind of got to prove yourself in order to get the more skeptical people
Mhm.
to
What
be
I
on your
noticed-
side.
what I notice is that when people ask him to lay out his plan, because it happens often. Like, I
Yeah.
remember on his Fox News interview, they were, like, trying to, like, get him at every corner, and he was holding his own. But when they told him, how do you plan to pay for all of this, he gave, like, told, oh, we'll pay it through taxes. And they're like, oh, so our tax rates are going to increase drastically. And he's like, no, they're not. But, like, he's not going to tell us, like, oh, they're going to go down. No.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go up.
Well,
Like,
it depends what tax bracket you're in. His whole plan is to tax the rich more.
and I think that is a good idea.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're kind of growing a lot faster than we are.
Yeah.
So.
But I definitely think that he just needs to explain better and not keep it from us.
The thing is, like, explaining something like that that doesn't rile people up.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what the phase that we're at right now is all about, riling people up. He doesn't really have, like, I don't know, him explaining that would take time and impact away from like anything else he has to say, sort of. I feel like.
But I feel like if he just did it once,
He'd be all set.
Or, you know what? Fucking make a statement on your website.
yeah.
And, like, whenever someone asks, you can just be like, I'll refer to you to, like,
Maybe it
honestly,
is on his
yeah, I was
website.
about to say, he probably does have a statement on his website, but, like, he needs to have, like a plan laid out that he can be, like, even fucking print it out and hand it out. Like, just something, even if he doesn't have to say it, just be like, here, this is my plan, physically, you can look at it, like, here are all the brackets. That would definitely help, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I agree with you, Jonah. I like Bernie's policies, but I know that America would not vote for him.
No, we're not ready.
I think that if Bernie did win the nomination, I think Trump would still get the presidency. Unfortunately.
Dude, I'm literally not even letting myself think about him being president again. Like, that isn't even an option that is crossing my mind. Because, like, that just sounds so fucking awful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Also, it's like we're at the point where, like, I feel like every other president, like, even after they got elected and they had their, like, strong supporters, like, think about Obama in 2008. He had a very, like, strong group of people who usually don't vote, who were all in on Obama. But then fast forward to, like, 2010, when the midterms happened, even his supporters,
That was such a shit show.
even his his
2010.
supporters weren't really, like, that big on him anymore, because after a certain point, typically with presidents, it's always like, well, you've been in for blank amount of time, now we have to start looking at, like, the results. With Trump, that's almost not even happening. Like, the economy is so bad.
I'm pretty sure I read on the news app on the Apple News app, that there are warning signs of another recession.
Yeah.
happening,
Like,
which is
pretty in the works.
terrifying as a college student.
But people,
Big time, yeah.
people don't even, like, it's not even, I feel like the supporters aren't even, like, blinking at that.
They don't. They see it one way, and that's it. Trump is great. He's making America great. Fuck the libtards.
Well, the thing is, they don't care about Trump's results. They care about Trump, as in Trump. Like,
Yeah.
they don't, no matter how fucking awful he is, just the fact that he is I don't even want to use this fucking word because he doesn't deserve it, but the fact that he is as charismatic as he is to certain people, like, that's all that matters to them, really. It's like, well, he might not have the results yet, but I believe in my man, and he will get it done within the next another 4 years. Like,
But he's not even charismatic at all.
that's the thing. I don't understand why some people can, like, see that fucking shriveled up, disgusting old man and be like, that's my guy. Like, he is not charismatic.
He's not.
He has a 30-word vocabulary. Like, why the fuck would you put yourself behind this fucking dolt?
Look at it this way. You are a 55-year-old man, and in your lifetime, you've watched everything around you change, and it's really scary. Watching, like, you can't say this anymore, you can't do that anymore. That, honestly, I can see how that could, like, scare someone, and if they don't want to adapt, I can see them going to someone like Trump and being like, yeah, we need to bring this back. Screw those people who are telling me I can't say what I want to say.
Yeah, but there are, I'm sure, I haven't done the research, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I'm sure there are other candidates who are just as like conservative, but much more well spoken and more respectful to the office of the presidency. Because this is the same motherfucker who thought that Obama was from Kenya. And then now he's saying that people gotta respect the office of president. Bitch, you didn't. Why the fuck would you expect the same thing? Like, he is so just unbelievably just annoying. And I'm sure there are people with similar policies that are much more of like actual president material that those people could go to instead. That's what I don't get.
There's another thing with Trump, and it's branding.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
He has
Trump.
insane branding. Yeah.
Everyone knows Trump across the world. Like, every country, everywhere, people know who Trump is.
Well, they make fun of him.
They
know who he is.
But
Yeah.
they're not just going to listen, oh, who's this white guy from Kentucky talking right now? No, they want to see Donald Trump, the big flashy guy who is yelling into the microphone.
And this kind of goes into what we were talking about last night. We were talking about one candidate that was in the debate, and we just couldn't remember their name, so we stopped talking about them.
Yeah.
They don't have good branding. Trump has amazing branding, and that's why people can talk about him so much.
Well, it's funny because like he always blames the media and the television networks for like anti-Trump material, but they helped him get elected.
They made him.
There was more footage of Trump's empty podium waiting for him to go up and speak during the 2016 election than there was of actual time of Bernie Sanders speaking.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
that's a fact?
Yeah.
Well, that's,
Jesus.
I mean, I feel like the media kind of avoids Bernie Sanders like the plague, too.
Yeah, but also, like, they push Trump so hard.
Because he's a ratings guy.
Yeah.
People watch when it's Trump. It's like, wow, look at this ridiculous dumpster talking.
Because
right
usually
now.
people who only are supporters and maybe like devout haters watch debates.
Mm-hmm.
But like fucking my dad watch some of the Trump like campaign stuff because he's just like, oh, this is on. I fucking hate this guy. Of course I'm gonna watch and I'm gonna yell at the TV
and make
like,
fun of him.
Yeah, like his awareness, like how aware people are of him is just insane, and that's like that plus the media pushing is what got him where the fuck he is today.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But in terms of the Democrats, who are you of the people who are electable, let's say, the people who have an actual chance, who are you most fearful would lose to Trump if they came out?
All of them. I don't... Honestly, I think that if Biden came out, there'd be a good chance of him losing.
All right, let's go one by one then. So, do we think that... Because I feel very strong on this. We agree that if Beto came out, he would lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost to Ted Cruz. All right.
He did lose.
If you can't beat Ted Cruz, you can't beat Donald Trump.
You were the one who was justifying this last night, though.
I was justifying that he should stay a senator and fight Ted Cruz again.
Well, I think I'm gonna say the fact that he got so close to Ted Cruz in fucking Texas is impressive.
It is impressive. In a red state like Texas, that is very good.
My point though is I would be more inclined to agree with you if I didn't watch him bomb every debate and mishandle every question that gets sent to him.
He's also just kind of weird. Like, being honest, he doesn't have a good vibe.
No,
Yeah,
he
dude.
does not.
I followed him on Twitter for a while, and some of his tweets, I was just like, dude, I can't follow this fucking dude. And I had to unfollow him after like 2 weeks.
Same, I unfollowed him recently.
Still follow Bernie, though.
Yeah.
So would you say that Biden has a chance?
Yes.
Of
More than
beating Trump?
Beto, but not... He's got a chance, but it's not super guaranteed.
I'd say if Biden cleaned up his act while speaking, because whenever I see him on the debate, he's never strong. At least that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
If he cleaned up his act and changed his...
Who was it he told, like, before the debate, he told him to, like, go easy on him?
Oh, I didn't even know that.
That's funny.
But, like, he's got name recognition. He'd be like, hey, I was Obama's vice president. Remember Obama? Well, vote for me, because Obama.
My thing is, I feel like there's a lot of Democrats that can't get behind him because of his past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is he's, I think, most positioned to take people who are on the fence for Trump away.
Yeah, but that's true. But I feel like he would gain from that, but also lose from Democrats, and so it would kind of be like a sunk loss, like just like
Voters wouldn't be as energized, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see people like, I don't see him losing people who vote to Trump, if that makes sense. But I see him losing people voting, period.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
people aren't gonna be as like gung ho about voting for him.
Like he could steal from Trump, but he could lose from the Democrats.
He's a very generic politician. Unlike Trump, he can't really electrify his fan base. You know what I mean?
He's generic, but I feel like he's generic in an almost refreshing way. Since Trump,
I don't know.
like I want a boring ass president. I really
That's true.
do.
He is a boring.
He would be a very
yeah.
boring president, and I would love that. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
like I want to be able to turn on the TV and like actually watch it and not be annoyed and have to turn it off.
Not see Mike Pence.
Yeah,
Space
staring.
Force.
Or no, dude. The worst thing was seeing him at that ICE facility and just like looking at all those people and pointing. I like that. That was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Definitely.
Only reason why I didn't wish that Trump was assassinated was because it would fall into his dumb ass.
Yeah, Pence could not lead the party.
Pence is dense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually like Biden's chances against Trump because I feel like we're in such a, like, it happens all the time where like when the president when people start to fall out of favor with him, the other party has a huge advantage in the next election. So I feel like Biden does have a good chance against Trump.
I'm not gonna say he has a great chance, but he doesn't have an awful one.
A good quality about Biden, I think we already said, is like he's a moderate. So it's like he has more appeal in the red states. So like if you take someone like Elizabeth Warren, she'll drum up more support in like Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, California, like blue states. But if you take someone like Biden, he could more easily take states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like states that fell to Trump in 2016, but are very easily flipped back to the Democrats. And I think Biden could definitely do that.
The thing that scares me about his chances, though, are all the people who just look at him as like, I mean, not incorrectly, the people who just think of him as like, what does Trump call him? Like creepy Uncle Joe or something like that.
Creepy Uncle Joe.
But
God, I fucking hate the nicknames so much.
But it's bad because Trump is like the same way. He has the same exact reputation.
Trump is bulletproof. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a new scandal with him like every single week. So it's like by the time you
just can't keep up.
By
you
the
really
time
can't.
you somewhat digest the awful thing that he did, he's already doing something else to take your mind off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And between those two things that you actually noticed was three things that you didn't.
Exactly. You just can't keep track, and it ends up meaning that he's invincible. So
that's why I gave up on watching the news, because like for me it's either all or nothing. Like either I want to know everything or I want to know nothing.
Like
so like it was so hard to fucking keep up.
Like the grabber by the pussy thing, that would have destroyed like any candidate, but someone like Trump could bounce back from that so easily.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. I really don't.
It's like literally the same exact shit that Biden did.
Except not even as bad. Biden fucking hugged people and they didn't like it.
And they call him creepy Uncle Joe, and
Trump calls him creepy Uncle Joe.
Make out with a mop or whatever it was.
No, it was the American flag.
Oh.
He has multiple times caressed the American flag on the podium.
Pretended to be Joe Biden.
Not even, just in general, not pretending, just being Trump, loving America, caressing the American flag.
Fucking freak.
But yeah, so, what about Bernie? Do you think if he were to come out and go against Trump, do you think he would have strong odds?
I think it would be less than Biden, but I think he would still have decent odds.
Dude, I feel like with Bernie, he could either like steamroll him or just lose entirely. Like I feel like if he's nominated and then does something very like major and insane, like he can fucking absolutely destroy him. But if he doesn't manage to do that, I think he'll just kind of like putter out, and Trump will win.
But on the debate floor, I think Bernie could definitely beat Trump.
But like, I feel like everyone can beat people.
Biden
like
definitely can.
I feel like everyone can beat Trump and Biden on the debate, but it seems like it doesn't matter.
I feel like you can beat Trump in the eyes of the general public, but like beating Trump enough to where his fans actually notice it is near impossible.
Yeah, like they are very tightly wound to Trump.
Like you could counter every single one of his points, but if he drops one, creepy Uncle Joe, like his supporters will like be like, "Oh, dude, Bernie was destroyed or Biden was destroyed."
I mean, it happened with crooked Hillary.
Yeah, exactly. So like, beating him is such. I can't speak. Beating him in a debate is such a weird like. It's you don't beat him overall. You beat him in the eyes of certain people.
Also, speaking of the Hillary thing, they still chant "lock her up" at Trump rallies.
Honestly, lock her up is bad, but the new one, send her back, is worse.
Yeah, way worse.
Send her back is
way
like
worse.
Come on, dude. You can't even do that in a mainstream way without making yourself look like a fucking racist.
You can't even do that in a mainstream way without being a racist.
Yeah,
like that is 100%.
Didn't they
race-based.
just fucking drop someone or suspend someone on Fox News for doing something like that?
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, didn't they just suspend him?
He's going on vacation, is what he said. He said on a Wednesday he's gonna go fishing with his son, and I think that just means he lost like 3 big donors.
No, I mean, didn't someone like get suspended for like a month or something?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they all have gotten suspended before.
I try not to follow Fox News, but
I don't usually unless it becomes like a big thing. And it's usually Tucker or Hannity.
Dude, I don't understand. Well, I mean, I do because he's Trump, obviously. But, like, it's so weird to me that during his time in the office, like, before even the next, like, presidential run was starting to build traction, he was still doing rallies.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
he needs to win again.
all he was doing his entire presidency was flying to Mar-a-Lago, going to, like, North Korea to meet his good pal Kimmy, and like flying to random states and doing rallies.
This whole
like,
thing
it makes no sense to me.
It's just a big competition for him. He could give a shit about improving the country. He just wants to win. That's how Trump has always been. He always wants to win.
do you think he's like just stupid or actually doesn't care?
No, I think he actually doesn't care. He's
Yeah.
not stupid.
He is dumb, but
I
not
think
that
he's
dumb.
very stupid.
He's stupid in some ways, but in other ways, he actually knows what he's doing.
He's stupid, but not that stupid. I think he's just, I don't care about the country. I'm going to secretly help my billionaire friends, and I'm going to win the election
Not
and be
even
in the
secretly.
history books. And I'll be in the history books, and I can officially say I beat out Obama, who made fun of me at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Dude, how are people even gonna look back and explain this time?
I've been thinking about that for like the past couple years, honestly, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to if one day if I have kids, like wait until they get their history textbooks and read them.
And look for the late 2010s.
I will find that segment, and that's the first thing I will read.
I will bet that it will be negative.
Oh,
In a negative
But it's gonna
No
be
shit,
but it's
but,
gonna be
like-
one of those things where it's like how we look at like the pre-civil rights movement America.
There
They're
was
like
a different time.
people are gonna look at it and be like how did this happen? Like they're gonna be like, people were so stupid back then. Like that would never happen nowadays.
I feel like it's gonna be like similar to like the Great Depression segment that we all have to go through in history class. Like it'll just be like all of a sudden this disastrous event happens and like throws the country to turmoil. And it's like, whoa, where the fuck did that come from? And then like for years we're feeling the aftershock. Like I feel like it's just gonna be another like segment like that, like a chapter in the history books.
I feel like I still think it's gonna be. It's like how we look at like in history books, like, oh, the people elected Hitler to all that power, and like when we look at that, like now we're like, how did that even happen? Like people were so gullible back then, but like pretty much the same thing
Yeah.
just happened.
Yeah, like all right, I'm gonna keep this brief, but in the Hitler taking over Germany time when he was gaining support, a lot of people criticized Hitler. Just like now, a lot of people criticize Trump. And, I mean, obviously it got worse because, you know, Hitler was a dictator. And I wouldn't... As bad as Trump is, he's not a dictator. But, like, you can definitely see them echo. You know what I mean?
You know what the funny thing is, though? Is I always had heard people say, like, one of the biggest reasons Hitler worked was because he was such a great public speaker. And I can't speak German, but even when you see clips on YouTube of his speeches,
It is good.
he is a great public speaker. But Trump is
He's
not.
it's like you can see his passion, but you see no passion in Trump.
Yeah, Trump is not charismatic, and he's not a good speaker.
His whole thing is just making fun of people and then his fan base thinking that they're edgy. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But it's like the insults that he thinks are like cool and
They're so
Creepy
bad.
Uncle Joe.
yeah, creepy Uncle Joe is idiotic. Wacky Jackie is even worse.
I call her. I'll say it. You guys want me to say it? All right. Wacky Jackie.
Oh my god.
It's so dumb. What did he call? Doesn't he have a weird name for Elizabeth Warren too?
He called her Pocahontas for a while.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're so weak.
And then there's Lion Ted during the Republican primaries, and then once he got elected, it magically turned into Beautiful Ted. Like Ted went over some transformation where he went from some lying goblin into some beautiful pixie. It's like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really it's just so dumb. Like I never expected that if the world would like elect another Hitler that it would be so stupid.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it would be like you when you picture it in like Nazi Germany, you're like, "Oh, that was like it was evil, but like there was like a cool and like edge and like movie-esque factor to it." But here it's like this is just dumb as shit.
and you know they're gonna make movies about this.
People are going to be studying this period for like 1,000 years and still not know what to make of it.
Dude, this is like the perfect case for like psychology.
Yeah.
Just of like fucking, I don't know, mass hysteria. Who the fuck knows what it is? But like, I don't know. This whole time period is definitely going to be one of the most studied. And since it is one of the most well-recorded time periods to date, obviously, it's going to be so easy to look back at every single one of his tweets and every single one of his recorded speeches.
A lot of historians consider 2016 and up to be the seventh era of American politics, which means that from the 50s on was the sixth era, and they thought that the Trump election was significant enough to consider a new era of American politics.
Jeez.
That is just crazy.
I honestly would delineate it even more. I feel like the 50s through like the 70s was a separate era from the 80s on. And I feel like a lot of the roots and early seeds of Trump you can see in Reagan.
Yeah.
Even down to the fact that like they were famous before they were presidents. And they kind of used that. Even down to like something as small as that, they were very similar.
Except Reagan's phrase was tear down that wall. Trump is build that wall.
Yeah.
Wow, I never thought about
And they
that
worship
before.
Reagan and they worship Trump, even though both had different plans.
Did you see that tweet from like that Reagan biographer
No.
who was like in shock? Like this man literally wrote a book chronicling Ronald Reagan and was like flabbergasted to see that thing of him using a racial slur. He was like, "Wow, I never realized Reagan was racist." It's like, dude, you're awful at your job.
If you've
What were
been
you
writing
doing?
about Reagan for that long and you just ignored that fact,
Like, he made it like by the way he talked, it was like he didn't even realize.
it's like I thought he was some like great, completely unbiased man. Like wow.
Like what was he doing all that time when he was supposed to be writing?
Trickle down economics. I don't know.
Like seriously, how could you not realize that as you're writing a giant book and like interviewing all the people around him too? Like that doesn't even make any sense. I've never read an autobiography or a biography where like they don't get the perspectives of like even if it's a pro towards the person book, they always have like pieces in there of like the people around them like showing like the negative side. Even if they do like, even if the overall book is positive, they always have like, oh, and he had his criticizers and like here's what they had to say about him. Like,
yeah, it's always they show the arguments and then they like stomp on them because like even if it's pro, but they didn't even obviously that dude doesn't even show the arguments.
He was like, "Wow, Reagan's a racist. I did not know that."
Dude, speaking of like tweets, I've been seeing so many tweets nowadays of just people being like, "Hey, you guys remember in elementary school when we learned about that checks and balances system? How's that working now?" Like, I love how much we learned about like the three branches of the government and the checks and balances systems and how they're all meant to not let like anyone like have too much power and keep everyone in balance. And it's like, dude, that does not fucking work. Obviously,
say, the judicial branch is especially fucked up because Trump is elected or has nominated 2 Supreme Court justices, both of them being conservative, tipping the balance from like I think it was like half and half with one moderate in the middle, and now it's just like 2 extra conservatives to like win the majority. So like now Trump can like, oh, I want to outlaw abortion in the entire country, and then the Supreme Court be like, sure, we have the majority, let's do it.
It's
like,
so insane that like it just so happens that it lines up that way. Like it's just fucking dumb luck. Like, hey, picking someone who can decide the future of our country should not be based on dumb luck. Like, oh, these people just so happen to retire or die. Like,
also, it's so funny how like how like little things that you would think are common sense like don't like slip by people. Like the same logic of like, hey, we shouldn't have a king. We should have a president who can't serve more than 2 terms, 8 years. It like somehow like this like that same logic like does not apply to the judges.
Yeah,
like it like
no
it's
sense.
so like it seems like so simple where like it's such an obvious thing, and like when they teach us about it in school they're like, oh, this is like everybody's term is limited to like restrain power, but they just never are like, oh yeah, but like the judges serve for life.
Unfortunately, it's unconstitutional to change something like that, so we're stuck with it.
They changed it for the president. FDR served how many terms in a row?
4. But that was also in wartime. We're not like we haven't had a World War II level.
Yeah, but like they
conflict.
changed it for him. Like
yeah.
Like we should not have this ever again.
Yeah.
Probably was in there for too long.
He was in there for 16 years.
Started to slip by the end.
Yeah.
Become unpopular.
He had a stroke too.
So it's like that. I just don't understand how they can change that but not change the other. It just,
who
it doesn't
knows?
make any sense.
Maybe next, if we get a more like left president next, they might address that.
All we can do is hope that RBG survives long enough in the Supreme Court so that a Democrat can be elected into presidency and she can finally retire.
Yeah.
Because she is very old and very sick sometimes. And
it feels like to me like we're very much headed towards a Democratic presidency.
Oh,
especially if you watched like the midterms.
That's
even
just
with
the way the pendulum swings.
Yeah, even with how gerrymandered things are, the Democrats still.
Gerrymandering. That gives me a headache.
Let's not get into fucking gerrymandering right now. That is such a dumb topic.
That'll be another
There's nothing you can say about gerrymandering aside from, dude, that is stupid.
That is dumb, and there should be something in the Constitution that says you can't do that shit. Yeah. You can't redistrict to help your party. But anyways, let's not talk about that.
That's as far as we can get.
Yeah, I just feel like the energy is very much swung towards we're going to have a Democratic presidency. But then again, it really did feel that way in 2010 and 2011 that we were going to get Republicans, and we didn't. We got Obama again.
But in 2016 we thought we were going to get a Democrat. So like,
did we though?
Yeah, we did.
I feel like that one always felt pretty open to me.
It felt open if I was feeling especially cynical that day.
I mean,
but like,
well, I mean, it wasn't open to me. I just felt like that one wasn't. I felt like that wasn't a pendulum election. That was like pretty close to the middle, if anything, leaning towards the Republicans.
It could have just been me watching fake news, but like I thought that Hillary had a pretty good chance of winning, and she just didn't.
She was highly favored.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if you do look at it in the way of the pendulum, I feel like there wasn't any intense momentum to like push it, I guess. So I guess it was sort of
It's
in the
kind
middle.
of two sides kind of just clashing into each other.
Yeah, there was no side with like a super ton of force behind it, I guess.
I mean, yeah, and you can see that in the election numbers where Hillary won the popular vote, and Trump won most of the small farming states like fucking Wyoming.
Yeah. Dude, don't want to talk about the Electoral College, but only statement on that, it's fucking stupid.
It was made by
Old ass bitches.
old elites in the 13 colonies who wanted Virginia to have more power than anyone else.
All right, that's it. That's it for the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Same thing with gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Never again.
Well, the reasoning that people have like still justify the Electoral College is that like because so many people live on the coasts, that the coasts would like inherently have such an advantage, and so the geographical areas of Middle America would not get the representation that they deserve for the amount of land that they have.
Well, I don't think the representation should be based on land,
Based on
we're
people.
not.
Yes.
We're not in a land-based economy
Right.
nearly as much anymore. It should be based on the people.
I would rather have a person be more represented than a square foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd understand back then when it was all about farming and like herding and things like that. That's a very land-based economy. The more land you have, the more wealthy you are, and that sort of deal. But like now, land doesn't mean nearly as much.
Yeah, we're
so
kind
I
of
feel
a
like
mixed bag now.
I feel like
The world is the country and the world in general is a lot more globalized.
yeah. So I feel like land shouldn't matter nearly as much as it does. It shouldn't have that much of an impact.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying that is the reasoning that even a lot of liberals posit to why we still should have it is because the whole like I don't know, have you ever like talked to people from the mid America where they're like they have like this persecution complex about like the coastal elites, and like the fact that all news coverage talks about is the coast, and like people and even people from the West Coast feel like the East Coast has like an advantage in all like news media.
I mean, yeah, the only news media that West Coast has is California, really.
Yeah, you really don't hear much about Oregon or Wisconsin.
No.
Not Wisconsin, Washington.
Yeah. Like, but, I mean, like, what the fuck is there to talk about in Middle America?
And also, like,
look at this new variety of corn.
Yeah.
The fact that it's so easy to, like, move states now is, like, yeah, no shit, people are on the coast. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
You don't really want to be in fucking Ohio or South Dakota.
Especially the Dakotas.
Like, this is where shit is happening. Why wouldn't you want to be here?
Yeah.
This is where it has been happening for the entire history of this country.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. New York has always been like the epicenter of this country.
Yeah.
And now LA, which is just like their version of New York on the West Coast.
But, like, I feel like until we become super overpopulated and need to start, like, actually living in Middle America, shit isn't gonna happen there for a while.
Because why would you want to be... Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the people who are still... Like, they act like people, like, move to the coast and they're favored because of some, like, grand conspiracy. And, like, that... Like, people hate Middle America. It's like... No, we just don't want to be in Middle America. Most people would much rather be on the coast.
And it's like, if you're living in the coast, you would never, ever even think about moving to Middle America.
It's like, we
Like,
don't...
why, like, what, like, that wouldn't even be an option that would cross your mind even to, like, make fun of.
Yeah,
like, that's just not an option.
I've never even, like, once considered moving to, like, Nebraska.
No, that's
like,
just not an
never.
option for
So,
me.
like, they think that we look down on them. Like, they think that they're a bunch of incompetent, like, I don't know, jerk-offs. And, like, we're not the big shot Northeasterners that, like, they think we are. Like, yeah, we're like, we think you're nice, you're fine, we just don't want to live where you are.
No, it's not even we think they're nice, they're fine. It's just I don't think about them.
Yeah.
Like
you run a farm
that.
in the middle of the country, and you don't make the big trades that are going on in China and Europe. Like,
Yeah, they would also say that, like, our whole economy is still kind of based around them and needs them because they actually produce everything that gets sent to our big cities.
Yeah.
So they would argue that. They would argue that, like, we don't get it because we're not doing, like, the hard work that, like, holds up the backbone of the country. But, like...
I mean, doing hard work in other ways, just not production.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I get... Like, I would almost describe it as, like, they're the players... And not to, like separate middle and coastal America even more, but, like, they're, like, they're the players, and the people who are, like, high executives on the coast are the coaches. That doesn't mean that the players, like, deserve equal share or deserve a greater share in the vote than the coaches because they're the ones who are on the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the coaches are still the ones who are, like, masterminding the game, and, like, so do you see where I'm going with this? Like,
I feel like that's
politically, like, just because they're the ones who do the hard labor doesn't mean that they're like the ones who are enlightened about how the country should run.
I don't know. I feel like that's creating a little too much of a separation. Like, that's kind of hyperbolic, I guess. Like, I feel like the separation isn't as intense as coaches versus players.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is, like they don't, like, they think that because they're the players, they know what's actually going on more so than, like, the coaches.
Okay, I get that.
Like, they don't deserve this, like, extra vote and representation that they, like, so desperately feel like they need.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just don't think about you.
Yeah, I don't think Arkansas really crosses my mind very often.
No.
I mean, Rhode Island doesn't cross many people's
Never.
minds either.
Dude, I literally, when I saw Rhode Island in the news for those people, those protesters getting, like, hit by that ice truck, I was like, I mean, ice, not as in, like, like frozen water, as in ICE, like immigration people. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is awful. Also, this is, like, the first time I've heard Rhode Island in the news in a fat minute.
Dude, I had that when that story about the school lunches in Warren went kind of national, like, a couple months ago. I was like, dude, I cannot believe I'm seeing people on Twitter in, like, Minnesota talking about this.
Yeah, it's so weird to hear people, like, actually say Rhode Island. Like, even I was watching, like, this video, and it was, like, all, like, states, like all states spirit Pokemon. And, like, I don't even remember what the fuck Rhode Island was. But, like obviously Rhode Island's going to be included. It's all the states. But even when Rhode Island was included, I was like, oh my God, that's us. Like, oh, cool, they said Rhode Island. No one says Rhode
I think
Island.
a fun little tidbit about Rhode Island is that Gina Raimondo is the leader of the Democratic Governors Association in the country. Like, out of every single governor, she's, like, the head one.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That blew my mind when I found that out. I was like, what the hell?
That's so weird.
Our Rhode Island governor is the leader of something?
Not
like,
even
damn.
that good of one.
Yeah. And here she is.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Damn, that's insane. I didn't even know that.
So yeah, just to quickly wrap up what we were talking about before. So we feel like Beto, no, doesn't really have a chance. Bernie, where do we stand? I stand on probably not.
Possibly, but probably not.
I think
Small chance.
depending on, I think there has to be a nice event to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we think Biden,
Higher chance.
Yeah, I would say higher than Bernie as well.
I don't really know how I feel about that one.
Elizabeth Warren.
I feel like she has a very good chance of.
Yeah, same.
I think
pretty
she
good.
might be just under Biden, but I still think she has a good
I think
chance.
she's top of my list.
Of who you think would have the best chance?
Yeah.
Biden's still the top of mine.
I feel like it's close now, but I think the longer it goes on, Elizabeth Warren will go into number one.
Yeah, she only recently crossed over, I'd say like a week or two ago.
That would be really cool seeing a Massachusetts senator do that, some New England representation.
Yeah, another thing about being a Rhode Islander, I just like by association, like, identify as, like, someone from Massachusetts.
Rhode
Yeah.
Island's just like a province in Massachusetts.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, whenever I see Massachusetts in the news, I'm like, oh, cool, that's us.
I mean,
and then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
wait. I mean, I guess I live in Cambridge, but, like...
I mean, think about it. Even this summer, we work in Massachusetts. We
Yeah.
go shopping in Massachusetts. We just live in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Not to dox ourselves, but the town we're living in used to be part of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. We're just sort of like Massachusetts little, like,
Little, like,
what's that thing, like, when people, like, absorb their twins, but they still got, like, a little...
parasitic twin.
Yeah, like a parasitic twin of Massachusetts. Like, we're just, like, the little parasitic arm sticking out of Massachusetts' back.
Yeah. I mean, we do have some individuality, but yeah.
We got coffee milk!
In Dells.
Yeah,
And
that's...
Quahogs,
that's
even
it.
though most of those things are probably sold in Massachusetts, too.
Yeah, they are now.
Yeah.
Used to be us, but then a couple years ago, everything sort of went over.
They sell coffee milk in Massachusetts.
Definitely.
Not nearly as often.
Sell it at
It's
Stop and
something.
Shop.
It's something that you need to look for,
Mm-hmm.
So that
especially the
market
farther
basket.
away you get from Rhode Island. Like, I couldn't find any near me in Cambridge.
Yeah, I remember someone was talking like a week ago with me, but I don't remember what it was. It was some like salad ingredient or something that like they were like I didn't like no one even eats it unless they're from Rhode Island. So like in New Hampshire, like it's literally no one ever buys it, and he's like literally the only person who eats it.
I've never heard of this.
What is the salad ingredient?
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. But he was like, yeah, literally, he's like, I can always tell when all the Rhode Islanders are up here for vacation because that's the one time it's ever sold out.
That's weird.
Jeez. I want to know what this is now.
Yeah,
I want to know if I eat it.
I probably don't because I don't
Yeah,
really
you don't
eat salad.
you don't fuck with salad.
Yeah, I don't fuck with vegetables at all, really.
Yeah, get the shit out of here.
All right.
That's really weird though.
So we'll wrap up with just a little fun thing I saw on the
We're only
internet.
an hour in. We could go longer.
An hour's probably.
All right.
An hour and a half is a little intimidating to click on.
All right. Let's see how long this segment goes for, though.
Yeah, it shouldn't go that long. It's just kind of a little funny thing I saw on the news. But there was a man in Florida.
Oh,
of
a Florida
course,
man.
Ooh.
who was just arrested for performing surgery without a license. And what he was doing was he met a man on a fetish website and claimed that he had done many castrations before.
Oh,
So he
no.
and he had actually cut off his own testicle, just one though.
Oh.
So he was performing a castration on the man and had his balls in separate jars, I believe, and he bled all over the place and had to get rushed to the hospital.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's Florida, man.
The thing about like fetishes like that is like you can only do that once.
Dude, I've had this conversation.
You're one and done.
Like, again, not to dox myself, but I knew someone who was approached, and like the person was like, I want you to cut off my penis. And they were very heavily considering doing it. Because they were like, I mean, I don't think they were actually considering, but like, who the fuck knows? But they were like, this person can only get this sort of rush once in their life.
And then it's all over.
Yeah, like, I kind of want to give that to them. But then the person was
Like
like,
setting
yeah,
them
the person was
free.
like, yeah, then I want you to cook it into food and then feed it to me without me knowing. Like, sneaking into one of my meals. And then they were like, okay, I'm not going to do that.
What's even the appeal of that?
Sadism, being fucked
Yeah.
up.
It just it makes them feel horny.
But it ruins it forever after that. Like once you get castrated, like you can't go back to that. You can't go back to the world where you had 2 working testicles.
I mean, like, imagine if you could only, like, I don't know. Like, imagine if you could always edge yourself, but you could never come. Like, I feel like eventually you would break down and, like, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, you could only
Yeah.
come... You could imagine if you could always edge yourself, but you could only come once in your entire life. Like, I feel like one night, you would like get too into it and just go for it. And I feel like that's how it works.
But also with the dick cutting off, like
A lot more premeditation for that though.
you can't. Your sex is ruined forever.
They don't care about sex.
After that
They had
one
They had one amazing time that
Yeah.
they've been fantasizing about for a really long time.
And then you have a permanent hangover
They don't
from
really-
that party.
Yeah.
But they think it's worth it though. They think that
Yeah, that's crazy.
one
It is
moment-
crazy.
I
It
can't
really
even
is.
imagine that.
I don't know. Like, for where fetishes go, like that's way, way, way too far.
And you can't even like you can't even assimilate back into normal life and forget about it.
Oh
because,
God,
like,
no.
It's
That follows
always
you
gonna
everywhere.
come up, and you're always gonna think about that. Like when you're at like Thanksgiving dinner with your grandma, you're gonna like be thinking about like,
Yeah, and you go
yeah,
to
I
the
cut off my
bathroom.
dick.
Yeah, you had Thanksgiving dinner with
I have a
grandma.
peephole.
You like drink a little too much apple cider, and you go in a piss, and you just like, oh wait, I don't have to go to the bathroom. I have my bag that I just pee into.
Yeah, you can never like escape that and
Yeah,
like act normal.
I mean you could on the surface, but the second you actually get to know someone, like you're probably gonna drop the "my dick's gone" tidbit, and then shit gets fucked.
Hey,
Dude.
nice to meet you. I don't have a dick
Oh my.
anymore.
Okay, imagine theoretically, like, let's say not to dox anyone, but our Florida man. Let's say our Florida man. Imagine 5 years down the line.
Wait, who's our Florida man?
Our Florida man, our new Florida man.
Oh,
Not to dox anyone, but
Oh,
we have
our new man who's gone to Florida.
we have a friend who just moved down to Florida for school, and I've been friends with him my entire life. We've all been friends with him for a pretty long while.
Yeah, if you see anyone down in Florida with bottle opener flip flops, just like hit him upside the head.
Yeah,
for
if he
us.
looks like he's metrosexual too. That's the other thing. But imagine if theoretically 5 years down the line, he, like, when we were just like chilling, he dropped a tidbit. I haven't had a penis for the past 3 years. I cut it off, or I had someone cut it off. Do you think you could still be friends with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still be. I'd look at him completely
like,
differently.
I'm saying, like, if you were at 100, where do you think, like, the new max would be?
Like 75.
I'd say mine's like an 82.
I was gonna say 85. I think.
Like, I don't think I could ever be, like, as, like, good friends, because, like, I don't
Such
know.
a like barrier.
That would
like, I'm
always...
just like a fundamentally different
I
person
consider-
than you are.
I
if you do
consider
that.
all of us to be open-minded people, and that's
Not
why
that
we
open-minded.
But that enough open-minded where it would still be weird, but it wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
But my thing is, like, it's something I can never think about, because I'm sure everyone has these moments, like, when we're all like, talking, and then it gets quiet, and then someone will go, remember this? Like, that always happens. It's just gonna be, remember when so-and-so cut off his penis? And we're always gonna be asking for the story. Like, it's never gonna not be there.
Yeah,
whenever I'm
think
with
about
that person.
how much we talk about how often our Florida man shot brown semen. About
Yeah.
that all the time.
He's not gonna watch this.
All right.
Florida man, if you're watching, if you're like an hour and 10 minutes into this,
Enjoy your
Sorry.
assorted brown.
yeah,
Yeah,
enjoy
no-
the brown.
No one listening knows who he is.
Dude, can we talk about just browning in general for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So-
Why not?
So
We're an
Ended on a
hour
good
in. No
note.
one's this far.
our
We just-
friend, Mr. Florida, he came to us one day and revealed to us that when he was young, I believe around 11 or 12, I think
No,
it
it was in high school.
No, it was before he started masturbating regularly.
No, it was in high school.
He didn't masturbate regularly?
No.
No, dude, it was...
No, it was. I think he was 15.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he was.
No, I
Yeah.
refuse to believe that.
You can
Freshman
call
in
him up
high
and
school?
ask him. Yeah, he was like a freshman or a sophomore.
I firmly believe he was like 12, maybe 13. But, you know, if Max thinks that, that just makes it even fucking funnier. So he let us know that he hadn't been masturbating regularly. This is like years after the fact, he tells us. He hadn't been masturbating regularly. And one night he had a wet dream. And when he came and like woke up from his wet dream, what was inside of his pants was brown. And apparently stinky.
Oh, it was stinky?
Yeah, he said it was like. I asked him if it had an odor to it, and he's like, yeah, a little bit.
And like you'd think, is that shit? But it was in the front side, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely not. Thought it was shit.
I wouldn't think it was.
I
shit.
thought it was shit when I first heard it.
No, because it was.
But you didn't see it.
Yeah,
No, but like it's stinky, it's brown, it's in his
Yeah, but
It also definitely didn't smell like shit.
It definitely didn't smell like shit. It just smelled like gross semen. Like
it smelled like brown.
yeah, it smelled like brown, and like obviously it was like
put that in my mind.
obviously it was like dripping out of his penis. Like, and then and so he's like, oh my god, am I dying? And he looks it up, and he's like, all right, I guess I'm good. He doesn't go to a doctor or anything. He just looks up like brown semen. And
Yeah, because I guess it just comes from like your body not getting it out of your system, so it dies.
Yeah, because also he has like some weird sleep. I don't want to say sleep habits, but like some weird sleep isms that are just like a little bit odd. So I feel like that might have prevented him from having wet dreams until then. So like he told us it had been around a month and a half since he last like ejaculated before the brown. So like it imagine like just the semen brewing in you for a month and a half and then having died and then come out like
just a fucking tomb of semen.
Like yeah, it's just a dusty
Semen burial ground.
Semen burial ground where it's just rotting and then eventually gets unearthed into your pants. But yeah, that's browning. Everyone masturbate regularly if you don't want a brown.
Make sure you rate your brown on the brown scale if you do.
Yeah.
Try to get Obama number 7.
Well, that needs a little bit of explanation, but whatever.
Not now.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe not ever.
It's not racist. It's just a picture we saw.
Yeah. All right. That was that seems like a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear more. If you even made it this far to hear us talk about the brown semen.
I really commend you if you did make it past the brown semen.
Yeah. Listening to 50 minutes of politics and brown.
Yeah, you got rewarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so subscribe if you enjoyed. Tell everyone you know. Yeah, that's it. Podcast Paradise 11. We out.
Bye-bye.
See ya.